Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Chris here from Finland Mennonite Church. It's time for another Midweek Musing, this time where we slow down and remind ourselves of one truth from the previous week's sermon and the scriptures that we were in. Well, this last week we were looking at King Herod and how he responded to the news of the birth of this newborn king of the Jews. And if you remember, he was threatened. And he responded as such. He responded with force. He responded in horrific, destructive ways as he tried to double down on his identity as king. And this idea of being threatened, we said we can all react that way and feel threatened by various things. We can even feel threatened by words of Scripture, by commands of God that go against maybe what we think we should do or what we want to do in that moment. And so this idea of being threatened, well, it had me thinking, had me musing. And maybe you've been keeping track of the news and you saw that earlier last week or recently there was this major snowstorm that hit the west coast of our country and dropped tons and tons of snow, right? And so that in particular had me thinking of something that all of us will probably see at some point this year. And that's something like this. Right, we will see this on the news, some kind of a storm threat from Wednesday to Thursday or whatever the day may be. This is what this one is. And what you see here is a lot of blue, meaning there's going to be a lot of snow. See some rain. If you're from our area, maybe you're thinking, yeah, whatever, it never actually turns into anything. It's always just rain. But no, we get snow. And here's the bigger thing. When something like this is broadcasted, what's the response by most people? Right? Do you want to go grocery shopping right after that hits? Well, you might not want to, but a lot of people do. Grocery stores are going to be mobbed, right? People are going to be buying milk, they're going to be buying eggs, they're going to be buying butter, they're going to be buying whatever they think they need to bunker down for whatever this storm is going to drop on our area, right? Things go crazy in response to these threats of storms. Stock markets can be impacted by this. Price fluctuations, right? We see all kinds of responses to these storm threats that are out there. And the point I want us to remember in all of this is the fact that people are doing something in response to the potential threat. Right? They're doing something to prepare. They're doing something to be ready. They're doing something in response. And friends, that's exactly what I want us to think about. Every time we see this throughout the winter or even in the summer months with thunderstorms or things like that, when there's these threats, let's think, man, how am I responding to some of these harder commands that I'm coming across in Scripture? How am I responding to these things where God is telling me to do something that I don't want to do? Right? Am I submitting to it? Am I obeying it? Am I believing that it's going to be better for me to follow God's ways? If so, then I'm going to walk in his ways. I'm going to respond the way that he's asking me to. But if we double down like Herod did, no, that's not going to happen. Or, hey, that is way too uncomfortable for me to do that. You can't ask me to do that, Lord. Well, then things are, they're not going to be very joyful. They're not going to be very fulfilling. We're not going to feel very satisfied, right? Because those things, the joy, the satisfaction, the feeling like we're truly alive, only happens when we surrender and submit to these commands and these expectations and these things that God is calling us to do. So, as you come across scriptures that maybe you go, wow, I could never ask the Lord, give me strength to do this. Because I want to experience your joy. I want to experience your love. I want to experience abundant life. And friends, the only way to do that is by surrendering to the one true King, King Jesus. But remember, he's a God of love. And so whatever he's asking you to do, he knows it's for your good. Whatever he's compelling you to go or whatever he's requiring of you in the moment, we can surrender knowing that he is a God of love. A God who wants ultimately what's best for us. And we're going to find that and experience it as we surrender and submit to him. So enjoy the rest of your week. Boy, I sure hope tomorrow's forecast is a bunch of snow because that would be awesome. And may you be blessed as you continue seeking Jesus this season of Advent. Have a blessed rest of your week.